Thank you for your interest in Special Olympics Pennsylvania's athlete performance training. Athlete performance training is an in-season fitness program. Health education and fitness evaluations are embedded into sports practice for 8 weeks. Athlete performance training happens on the field of play, whether that be a soccer field, bowling alley, or swimming pool. Athlete performance training consists of a combination of coach-facilitated sports practices and at-home fitness. As a coach, you can enhance athletes' sports performance and improve their health and overall quality of life by offering athlete performance training. Athlete performance training includes education, exertion, and evaluation. Education includes short weekly lessons on exercise, nutrition, and hydration. Exertion means that athletes should be engaged in physical activity during the entire sports practice. Evaluation includes a fitness and health evaluation for athletes at the start and end of the season. More will be provided on those evaluations later. In addition, athletes are provided an at-home fitness program to complement their in-person training sessions. The goals for athletes each week is to exercise 5 days a week, eat 5 total fruits and vegetables per day, and drink 5 water bottles per day. Athletes are expected to track their exercise, nutrition, and hydration daily throughout the year. Coaches will discuss athletes' daily exercise, nutrition, and hydration tracking progress, as you will want to hear their victories and challenges. Athletes are expected to exert themselves and commit to being physically fit throughout the entire training and during at-home activities. Guidebooks are provided for athlete performance training. The coach's guidebook is available for up to 2 coaches per team. The coach's guide mirrors the athlete guide to allow athletes to follow along with weekly lessons. One difference between the athlete guide and the coach's guide is the coach's guide is vertical and about half the size of the athlete guidebook. The coach's guidebook is designed to be a flip book, meaning the athletes can follow along on one side while the coach reads from the other side, as you can see here. This allows the coach to easily interact and discuss education topics each week with their athletes. There are 2 symbols within the coach's guide you should recognize. If you see the teal clipboard icon, this indicates that this section is part of the health and fitness evaluation and tracking. Of those results should be completed in their team's Google Sheet tracker. Details on how to track results will be discussed later in this video. If you see the red stop sign icon, this means it is the end of that week's health education discussion. Coaches are to remind their athletes to exercise 5 days a week, eat 5 total fruits and vegetables per day, drink 5 water bottles per day, and follow their at-home training. You will be provided with enough athlete guides for each athlete at your training site. The athlete guide is a standard 8x11 booklet, and it is very athlete-friendly. It includes the athlete at-home fitness guide in the back pages of the book, as well as a pocket with an athlete tracker. The tracker is a tool for athletes to keep track of their nutrition, hydration, and physical activity over 1 year. Coaches and volunteers are encouraged to incorporate the tracker into discussions and motivate and support athletes. It is good to hear their victories and challenges. As mentioned previously, athlete performance training must be implemented for a minimum of 8 weeks. The table of contents provides an outline for each week's education topic, including the health and fitness evaluation at the start, the first week of training, and the end, the last week of training. At the end of each health topic, family engagement ideas are provided for athletes to share with family and caregivers at home. You should encourage your athletes to participate in these fun and educational activities. Weeks 2 and 3 focus on exercise. Again, the goal is to exercise 5 days a week. This section discusses the 4 types of exercise. Endurance. Endurance is the ability of the body to keep moving for long periods of time. Endurance can help athletes run farther distances without stopping and practice longer for fewer breaks. Endurance depends on intensity and exertion, which we will discuss in a bit. Balance. Balance is the ability of your body to stay upright or stay in control of your movements. Balance helps athletes to stay in control when they are playing sports and helps to avoid falls. Strength. Strength is the ability of the body to do work. Strength gives athletes the ability to jump higher, throw farther, and sprint faster. Flexibility. Flexibility is the ability of the body to move easily in all directions. Being flexible makes it easier to do sports skills and helps prevent injuries to your muscles and joints. To measure the intensity of endurance exercise is to understand how physical activity affects heart rate and breathing. There are two levels of intensity: moderate intensity and vigorous intensity. When performing endurance exercise for at least 30 minutes, you will breathe heavy, have an increased heart rate, and experience muscle fatigue. One way to measure intensity level during activity is the talk test. At moderate intensity, you can talk, but not sing during the activity. At vigorous intensity, you will not be able to say more than a few words without pausing for a breath. Exercise requires physical exertion. Exertion is effort. Your level of exertion during exercise is extremely important to have a positive impact on your health and fitness. This level of exertion can make you feel uncomfortable. It will increase your heart rate and breathing, make you sweat, and cause muscle fatigue. Coaches should encourage athletes to exercise at moderate to vigorous exertion levels for 45 to 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week. At-home exercises are very important. Athletes will not see results if they do not exercise several days each week. We recommend at least 5 days of exercise. Athletes are to select 2 exercise categories to focus on each day: endurance, agility, balance, or strength. Each exercise will include a warm-up and cool-down to include flexibility. This section in the athlete guide is color coordinated to make it easy to use. Warm-up is purple. Endurance is green. Agility and balance is orange. Strength is red. Cool down and flexibility is blue. Athletes are encouraged to track their exercises each week. Athletes can use exercises from the guidebook or include additional activities like walking and bike rides. As a coach, you can ask the athletes to bring their trackers with them to practice to share ideas and motivate one another. Week 4, 5, and 6 focus on food and nutrition. Again, the goal is to eat 5 total fruits and vegetables per day. This section discusses healthy weight, healthy foods, building a healthy plate, perfect portions, healthy meals and snacks, and how to reach your athlete performance training nutrition goal. Lastly, week 7 and 8 focus on hydration. Again, the goal is to drink 5 water bottles per day. Water bottles should be 16 to 20 ounces or 500 to 600 milliliters. This section discusses hydration, dehydration, healthy beverage choices, and how to reach your athlete performance training hydration goal. Coaches will instruct athletes to use their daily tracker in the athlete guide to help them track their goals for 1 year. Athletes will fill in 1 orange star each day they exercise. Fill in the pink star each day they ate 5 fruits or vegetables, and the blue star each day they drank 5 16 to 20 ounce water bottles. Athletes can also record the type of exercise they do each day. This can help encourage variety. This is also where athletes can track their height in inches and weight in pounds, as well as blood pressure, if able, at the start and end of the training season. You may ask athletes to bring these health metrics with them to the first practice, or if they have recently had a medical completed within 2 months prior to training, these metrics can be pulled from there. As stated, health and fitness evaluations will be completed at the start and end of the season, the first and last training session. Health metrics collected include height and weight. If you are able to collect blood pressure, that is beneficial to include as well. However, blood pressure is optional, knowing blood pressure cuffs or a machine is not always accessible to all teams. There are benefits for athletes in collecting their blood pressure. Your blood pressure is the force placed on the walls of your blood vessels as the heart pumps blood. If it's too high, your heart must work harder. Over time, high blood pressure can cause the heart to enlarge or weaken and can cause your arteries to narrow. This can lead to heart failure or heart attack or stroke. What you learn from taking your blood pressure can improve your lifestyle and may prevent a future life-changing diagnosis. Measuring your blood pressure is the only way to know whether you have high blood pressure. There are 5 blood pressure ranges. Less than 120 and less than 80, you have normal blood pressure. 120 to 129 and less than 80, you have elevated blood pressure. 130 to 139 or from 80 to 89, you have high blood pressure, hypertension stage 1. More than 140 or more than 90, you have high blood pressure, hypertension stage 2. More than 180 and or more than 120, you are in a hypertensive crisis. Hypertension, also called high blood pressure, is blood pressure that is higher than normal. To collect height and weight of your athletes, follow these next steps. You will need a simple measuring tape, at least 80 inches in length, and a portable scale. Remember these tips when measuring athletes' height. Round your measurement up or down to the nearest ½ inch. Remove shoes. Have athletes stand with their back against a wall, feet together, looking straight ahead. Have their heels, buttocks, and head touch the wall. Place a book on their head against the wall. Mark the wall at the top of their head where the book touches the wall. Measure the distance from the floor to the mark and record their height in inches. Remember these tips when measuring athletes' weight. Place your scale on a hard, flat surface like tile or hardwood. Have athletes stand still on the scale with both feet even and flat, and don't allow them to touch or lean onto anything. To check the accuracy of your scale, test an object that you already know the weight, like a dumbbell. If you are unable to collect height and weight at your training site, you may consider having athletes measure their metrics at home or request them from their doctor. In both the coaches and athlete guide, there are pictures as well as step-by-step instructions for athletes to collect their weight and height. So when you're setting up your tape measure for height, you want to tape it against a flat surface like a wall. You're going to bring it all the way down to the bottom, tape it down at the bottom, and then all the way to the top. Depending obviously on the height of your athlete, you're going to need it to go at least to 6, maybe even 7 feet. You may need a step stool to measure those athletes who are taller. Sarah, you're going to stand, oh, she knew exactly what to do. You're going to stand your athlete against the wall, against the tape measure. Make sure their feet are flat down at the bottom. Sarah, can you put your feet down there? There you go. Against the back of the, their heels are touching the back of the wall, not on your toes. Stands nice and straight, and they're going to look straight ahead. Sarah, can you look straight ahead at the camera there? Mm-hmm. And then you can take something flat like a book and place it on their head to get their measure, their accurate height. You're going to measure it in inches. So Sarah, you are exactly 60 inches tall. And you would write 60 inches down, or you could put it straight into the Google Sheet to record. Great job, Sarah. Thank you.
going to need a standard scale to measure your athlete's weight. When your athlete is ready for weight, you're going to have them take off your shoes. Zach, can you slip your shoes off for me? And they're going to stand, feet like this, Zach, facing the wall. Make sure they have both feet sturdy on the scale. They're not wobbling. If they need to, you can help them by letting them brace your arm, but you don't want them holding on to anything too tight. And then you're gonna make sure they're sturdy, and you're gonna record the weight in pounds. Zach, awesome job. Can you, wait, actually, let's make sure you're standing off the wall. There we go. Perfect job, Zach. Great job. Thank you.
Based on the height and weight collected, body mass index, or BMI, will automatically be calculated. BMI screens for weight ranges that may lead to health problems, but it does not diagnose the percent body fat or health of an individual. There are 4 BMI ranges: less than 18.5, which is underweight, 18.5 to 24.9, which is considered healthy, and 25 to 29.9, which is considered overweight. Over 30 is considered obese. High blood pressure often has no symptoms, therefore measuring your blood pressure is sometimes the only way to know if you have high blood pressure. Therefore, if you are able to collect blood pressure for your athletes, we recommend it as part of their assessment. If not, then you can leave this piece of the assessment blank. Again, there are 5 blood pressure ranges: normal, elevated, hypertension stage 1, hypertension stage 2, and hypertensive crisis. Athletes can provide their blood pressure results from a recent, within 2 months, doctor's visit for their initial reading. If you have a portable blood pressure cuff or have a volunteer from a healthcare field who can collect blood pressure, such as a nurse, physician, or therapist, you can collect blood pressure at the training site. To properly use a blood pressure cuff, follow the following steps. Make sure your athlete is calm and has not exercised in the 30 minutes. Therefore, it is recommended to collect blood pressure prior to the start of the training session. Make sure the cuff is the correct size for the athlete. To track and evaluate the fitness metric of an athlete and their aerobic fitness level at the start and the end of the season, they will participate in a 6-minute run-walk test. Athletes should maintain a steady run-walk pace throughout the 6-minute test, covering as much distance as possible. As a coach, you will be there to motivate and encourage athletes to participate at their best ability. To set up your test, you will need at least 5 to 7 cones. Cones should be placed 5 yards apart for a 20-yard or 30-yard course. Please view this video on the proper setup for the test.
So we're going to show you now how to set up for the 6-minute run walk test. You're going to need a flat surface at least 20 yards long. Any field, gym, you can even go to an empty parking lot will work for this. Today we're lucky to be on a football field here, so we're going to show you how to properly set up your cones for the test. To set up the test, you're going to start by putting a cone at your starting point, and then you're going to need your measuring tape to measure 5 yards or 15 feet from the first cone. All right, so we're going to hold this down here. You can put your foot down on it, and we're going to measure. So at the 15 feet or 5 yards, we're going to put our next cone. And then we're going to do another 5 yards and another 5 yards until we get to 20 total yards at the end. And you're going to put down your other cone.
Athletes will line up side by side at the first cone. There will be no more than 4 athletes participating in the test at one time. You will need 1 volunteer to keep time, 1 or more to motivate the athletes, and 1 to count the athletes' distances. Athletes should be reminded to turn quickly around the course and not stop. They can slow down if needed, but they should continue running or walking the entire 6 minutes.
We're going to set up the 6-minute run walk test to show you how to do it in action. Just a few reminders. You're gonna want to have somebody at the end, at the starting point, keeping time. You're going to have a second volunteer who will be counting each athlete going up and back, and then you'll want a third volunteer kind of motivating everyone, keeping them going, maybe counting down how much time is left. Another thing to remember is that you don't want really more than 4 athletes going at the same time, so you can keep that count and know how many laps everyone has done. When you get to the 6-minute point, you're going to tell your athletes to stop, and they're going to stop at the cone closest to them. You'll add on that extra time at the end. All right, so today we have our athletes JD and Liz. They're going to be running the 6-minute test for us. We have Jill is keeping time, and Coach Jackie is counting the laps. I'm going to be our motivator. All right, Liz and JD, are you guys ready? Jill, let us know when we're ready to start. Let's go, guys. Run at a fast pace. Keep it going. Up and back all the way to the end, guys. All the way to the end. Great job. Keep it going. Let me see you run. Awesome. All the way to the end. All the way to this cone, guys. All the way to the end. Right here, JD. There you go. Up and back. Fast, guys. Fast. Great job. Great job, guys. One minute down, guys. 1 minute down. Only a few more to go. Keep it going. 1 minute down. You got it. You got it. Great job. Great job, Liz. Woo! Keep it going. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. You're almost there. Woo!
The number of times the athlete goes up and back on the course is 1. To determine the distance covered, take that number times the double length of the course. For example, up and back 10 times on a 20-yard course, you multiply 10 by 40 to get 400. Remember to add any additional cones based at the end of the test. As part of athlete performance training, athletes are educated on 3 health topics: nutrition, hydration, and physical activity. All 3 aspects are important and affect one's health and fitness. In order to see an athlete's change in their health habits based on the education provided, Special Olympics has added a brief lifestyle survey. The lifestyle survey consists of 3 questions to ask each athlete. Answer choices are provided as well to allow the results to remain consistent and assist athletes in determining the answer that best reflects their habits. There are 3 questions included in the lifestyle survey based on each education topic. The coaches should review the answers provided and ask the athlete to pick the one that best fits their daily habits. For nutrition, the question is, what is the total number of fruits and vegetables you eat in a day? With answer choices 1 through 5 or more, and I don't know. For hydration, the question is, how many water bottles do you drink in a day? Again, with answer choices 1 through 5 or more, and I don't know. For physical activity, the question is, how many days a week do you exercise so that your heart rate increases for 30 minutes or more? When your heart rate increases, it means your heart is beating faster than it was when you were resting. The answer choices are 1 through 7 or I don't know. Athletes' answers will be recorded into their team's unique tracker, similar to the results of the other assessments. A good time to provide the athlete's lifestyle survey might be when you are measuring height, weight, or if you are able, blood pressure. As the athlete is pulled aside, you can briefly engage in conversation to ask the questions. Once you register your team for athlete performance training, materials will be mailed to you. We have updated the athlete performance training tracker so that it is now a part of your team's roster. Whether you are participating in APT or not, your roster will include a tab for APT. This will allow for easier access as well as organizing all your team's data into one place. You will find instructions for the APT tracker on the main instructions tab of your team's roster here. The tracker itself is the last tab of the roster here. The keys for all of the data are found above, and results will be entered into the cells below. You can also find the keys by unhiding rows AI through AR by clicking on the corner of AH. Results will be automatically color-coded based on the keys for easy interpretation. You will now be instructed on how to enter the data into the tracker. I will walk you through the assessments with a step-by-step example. Columns highlighted in gray will automatically be filled in for you. The first two columns will keep track of the athlete count. Each athlete will be assigned a number. The next two columns are where you will enter the athlete's first and last name. The full name is automatically filtered for you. Next, you can input gender and age. These are important for determining BMI and evaluating health metrics. As you can see, the first few columns are frozen to allow for easy comparison view with the assessment data and results. Scrolling over the assessment data, you will see columns for the pre-assessment, post-data assessment, and comparison data to show changes from pre to post. In the pre-assessment and post-assessment columns, you will input each athlete's results for their height, weight, blood pressure, if collected, 6-minute run walk test results, and lifestyle survey. The results are automatically color-coded to reflect their category in the keys. Be sure to input your results as instructed. For example, input height in inches and weight in pounds. The comparison columns that show change from pre to post are gray, as they are automatically calculated for you. Here you can see how your athletes' results have changed over the training season with positive and negative numbers. A positive change in the lifestyle survey is noted with green. We developed this sheet in hopes to allow you to record and keep track of all assessments in one place and to provide a visual of the improvements of your athletes over time. To learn more about athlete performance training and register your team for the upcoming season, you will visit the Special Olympics Pennsylvania webpage at specialolympicspa.org. You will hover over Beyond Sports and scroll down to Fitness Programs. Click on Fitness Programs, and you can learn more about all fitness programs that Special Olympics Pennsylvania has to offer. For athlete performance training, scroll down in the first column and click on Learn More. Then you will be directed to the Athlete Performance Training webpage, where you can learn more about athlete performance training, including instructions on how to register, with the link to this video, as well as the second step, which is to register by clicking on the link and completing the registration form with details specific to your training and your team's season. The steps for registration for athlete performance training are below. Watch the training video. Step 2, complete the registration form found on the Athlete Performance Training webpage. Step 3, SOPA will email you to confirm your participation for the current season. Step 4, you must respond to the email to confirm your commitment to complete athlete performance training. And step 5, SOPA will then mail you guidebooks and email you a link for your team's specific athlete performance training tracker. SOPA will email you throughout the season to remind you to complete your team's tracker. Following the completion of your season, and once your tracker is complete, you are then eligible for the bronze level of the coach's training and progression plan. Upon completion, you will be emailed the application to apply for the bronze level. If you plan to participate in athlete performance again for a new season, you will need to complete the registration form again to re-register. You have now completed the training video and may register your team for athlete performance training. Thank you for your commitment to the health and improvement of the lives of our athletes.
Even when I'm not doing Special Olympics training and competitions, I still in my regular life do nutrition, drinking a lot of water, staying hydrated, and I also do a physical therapy at home to which requires a lot of different stretches that help out a lot as well. I would recommend and I would encourage it to other athletes.
Do you like participating in athlete performance training?
Yes, I do.
Great. What's your favorite part for APT?
Eating healthy foods.
Awesome. Do you have fun when you get to do the 6-minute test and the other activities here at
Yes,
practice?
I do.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Liz.
Because I just love being here and running and just having the support of my teammates and my coaches.